development initiatives. These young volunteers may not be farmers, but intervention will go a long way to crops from perishing. Grts News Days, Babakar Senghor.
The Gambia Bankers Association, in partnership with the Juran Frederick Senghor Business Development Services, Saturday morning organized a tutorial meeting to discuss key issues confronting senior management staff of the local banking industry. The two-day roundtable centered on the theme conflict management and discussion making is expected to further strengthen the human resource base of the country's banking industry. Samuel Ba reports.
Milestone for the country's financial industry, bringing together senior management staff from local financial institutions. The two-day tutorial convened by the Bankers Association of the Gambia in collaboration with the Geran Frederick Consultancy Services seeks to critically assess effects of conflict management and decision-making on bank performance.
We're here today to have a two-day workshop. It's a training workshop for bankers, senior managers, mid-level managers, and low-level, and it's on conflict management and decision-making within the banking industry, or should I say Gambia's financial industry. And the reason for that being that we were contracted by the Bankers Association. GFS is we're a consulting firm, and we specialize in training and development, small business development. And we were contracted by the Bankers Association to carry out this training, this two-day training for them. It's not the first time that we have done so. This is our third time that we've been privileged to have the opportunity to train participants from the banking industry in the Gambia.
A wide divergence of opinion may exist on the nature and effects of conflict management and decision-making on corporate productivity and various ways of managing them. The effects could have far-reaching impacts on bank performances, a reason that prompted organizers of this training to adopt conflict management and decision-making as their theme.
Conflict management, as you said, people tend to look at from a different point of view. But like every other institution that's out there, we all have our conflicts. And this training basically will address how to approach people, steps in knowing yourself first of all before you're able to address a situation, how to address situations within the banking industry that have to do with be it customer service, be it staff. It's basically something that's directed at management and members of the HR.
Conflicts and decision-making processes appear to be an integral component of human existence and have manifested in diverse forms for millennia, and thus requiring effective strategies for managing them, especially in corporate institutions.
When people talk about conflict management, you begin to think of maybe two people fighting or three people exchanging words. Conflict is far beyond that. And when you talk of conflict management, it's always broader with decision making. When you are trying to manage a conflict, already you are taking a decision.
This course was identified human resource managers of the bank who feel that this is a necessity training program for the industry. And the importance of this program is reinforced by the personal presence of the MD of Islamic Bank.
Dr. Sirajo further reminded his colleagues to be accountable for making sound decisions for optimum performance of their institutions, saying only a thin line exists between conflict management and decision making.
You could be faced with a situation that situation all you need to do is a decision making situation. But if you did not realize it, you take it to be like a conflict. Meanwhile, what is needed of you is to carefully sit down and take a decision. But because you could not identify the thin line between conflict management and decision making, you begin to panic.
Participants are expected to be armed with knowledge and requisite strategies on conflict resolutions and decision-making skills required to attain optimum performances for the country's financial institutions. Samuel Ba, GRTS.
Compassionate Heart for the Needy Foundation, a registered charitable organization, on Saturday had a workday exercise and cleansing exercise from the traffic lights Caraba Avenue to Buvazun. Buminjai tells us more.
for the Needy Foundation took part in the first working day exercise and later organized a cleansing exercise along the busy Kairaba Avenue stretch. The organization has been operating in the country since 2012, focusing on promotion of peace and doing what they call putting a smile on the faces of the underprivileged. This foundation believes that bodily exercise brings with it many benefits such as protecting people from heart diseases and other diseases. It is for this reason members come up with this initiative of a working day exercise. The event saw members of the foundation joined by many others, particularly youths, for a long distance walk to stretch their muscles. They are not only focusing on bodily exercise but also keeping an eye on keeping the environment clean while they were walking. Mayor Yankuba Koli expressed gratitude to the organization for their strides towards ensuring a healthy and clean nation. He further noted that his council believes in partnership and therefore people like the Compassionate Heart Foundation will always enjoy his office's support. Lamin Jawara from the Ministry of Environment, Parks and Wildlife commended the Compassionate Foundation for the good move, adding that linking health promotion and environmental sanitation is of immense importance to the citizenry. Jawara further encouraged others to join the youth group whilst describing the benefits of such exercise to the body. Alex Williams, founder Compassionate Foundation, and Rohe Kagbo both expressed gratitude to the participants. This initiative, according to the organizers, will be carried out once every 3 months to ensure that the citizenry keep fit and healthy. Ominjai, GRTS.
The plight of Christians in war-weary Syria is likely going to top the agenda when the head of the Roman Catholic Church meets with Russia's president in the coming days. And P5+1 has finally struck a historic deal with Iran, but Israeli Prime Minister says this is a historic mistake. We'll be back with these and other stories right after this break. Welcome back. 6 world powers and Iran have reached a deal in Geneva to halt the Islamic Republic's controversial nuclear program. This after intense negotiations that ran through the night involving the foreign ministers of the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council plus Germany. Under the deal, Iran is obliged to temporarily halt uranium enrichment for 6 months in return for some limited sanctions relief. We have more in this DWTV report.
Rouhani said the pact opened new horizons. He traced the roots of the deal back to his election victory in June, saying an agreement was only possible because the Iranian people had chosen a moderate path.
Have recognized Iran's nuclear right.
That sentiment was echoed in Washington by U.S. President Barack Obama. He said Rouhani's election had made a diplomatic solution a possibility.
Close allies and partners. Today, that diplomacy opened up a new path toward a world that is more secure. A future in which we can verify that Iran's nuclear program is peaceful and that it cannot build a nuclear weapon.
But he also warned that sanctions would be tightened again if Iran failed to meet the terms of the agreement.
The deal has been welcomed as a historic agreement that could end the nuclear impasse that has been dragging on for 10 long years. However, not everyone is happy about the deal, with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calling it a historic mistake, arguing it will make the world a much more dangerous place. But as we hear from CNN, Mr. Netanyahu seems to be a pretty isolated figure as far as the deal is concerned.
Reaction from the people here in Israel. I talked to some on the streets just a little while ago. A lot of people are concerned about the deal that just took place. And we're just getting the reaction from the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And before his weekly cabinet meeting, we spoke and he said, what was achieved last night in Geneva was not a historic agreement. It was a historic mistake. And today the world has become a more dangerous place because the most dangerous regime in the world has made a significant step in the direction of achieving the most dangerous weapon in the world. Israel is not obliged to the agreement. The regime in Iran is dedicated to destroying Israel, and Israel has the right and obligation to defend itself with its own forces against every threat. These are pretty, it makes clear Prime Minister Netanyahu's stance, harsh words coming from him. This echoes the general consensus here that the deal doesn't go far enough in dismantling Iran's nuclear program. The major direct concerns Israelis have focused on are the centrifuges and the enriched uranium.